But Dr. Cortex, we haven't determined the cause of past failures.
Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general, and he will lead my Cortex commandos to world domination. This time, I shall reign triumphant. We are closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex.
Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do.
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Prepare the female Bandicoot.
This line of crates is probably like the weirdest and the most complex thing I remember from my childhood. Wait a second. I controller died or something. Да, бонусик. В первой части бонусики не такие уже и бонусики, иногда достаточно сложные. Короче, ще одна фобія дитинства. Катиться камня. Що цікаво, це те, що в порівнянні з другою і третьою частиною, в першій частині, коли ти тікаєш від камня, він, коротше, завжди достатньо близько до тебе. Від нього дуже складно відірватися. I guess I have to dub it in English, but what I was saying is basically is that like in the first game, when you're trying to run away from that boulder, it's always quite close to you, unlike in the second and third game where you can kind of manage to get away too far that you'll be barely seeing it in the camera. I always kind of disliked those levels because it requires some patience while you're floating on those leaves in the water. Yeah, in first game, those bonus levels, they kind of suck because there are a lot of bonus levels where you have crates positioned in a way where whenever you're trying to smash all of them, you can easily just fall off. It's not like it's super complex platforming or anything, but just like the positioning of the crates makes it much more complex than it should be for a bonus level. They tried to make it more complex to beat that boss in N-Sane Trilogy because it has like 5 health points at this now, but in the original it had like 3 health points, so you had to just hit it 3 times. I mean, they just added 2 more hits, but it doesn't really change much. The mechanics are still the same. I'm intentionally waiting for this mask to disappear because we want to hit this leftmost uppermost box so that we can grab this secret bonus or like more harder one bonus or whatever it's called, but basically to enter that extra area that you get into when you collect all 3 heads. And the reason why is because there are 2 cases in this game where you can grab a key when you complete such area, and the other reason is because these areas, they do contain crates and you need crates to get a gem. And in N-Sane Trilogy they changed what affects rates counter, like, you know, use all those crates that appear in bonus levels and secret bonus levels, they still do count towards your like final crates counter. And unlike in original, it matters because in originals you can just kind of pretty much skip all the crates and still get your gem. So they kind of made it more complex, but at the same time it's easier still, because in original game you had to destroy all crates with 1 life. Also, I forgot that this level has this blue gem pass, so I won't be able to get all the crates anyways. But just for the sake of displaying what it looks like when you enter such area, that's what it looks like, yeah. And it probably was like the easiest one. Six more crates that are hidden in that blue gem pass. That was surprisingly too easy, because usually I struggle with like one missed box here and there. There's these secret areas that you can use just to pretty much skip the hardest part of the level. We can use this area just to kind of give yourself like a stop on your way through those 3 torch things in a row. One of the ways you find out about those secret places as a kid is that you're trying your best to not die, and you just eventually stumble on, you know, those weird places where you kind of, I don't know, it's just like, it just happens on its own when you're trying your best. Also, obviously, there are some visual hints that I'm not sure if I really did see as a kid. Like, you know, this wall in the prior level, it had, so like most of them, they'll have this like sharp edges with the area where you can step on. They don't have any sharp edges, so if you're like super, you know, paying attention to all those details, you'll notice it right away. But I don't know about others, but me as a kid, I don't really explicitly remember that I figured it out just by looking at it. It was more like I was accidentally pressing back and forward and somehow managed to, you know, just stick to that wall. And it was pretty much what helped me. Yeah, surprisingly I didn't die once. Well, technically I did die once, but it only because my controller started acting up, and what happened is that it just kind of moved on its own to the closest gap. I remember when this game was released in 2017, I was playing it on PlayStation 4, and that PlayStation 4 was connected to pretty cheap Vizio television, and it was a real torture trying to finish this game. I was thinking that it's due to the engine, like, you know, change of engine in that remake, but apparently the real reason was just like high latency of the TV, and it had a dedicated game mode that I forgot to turn on. So technically I was like always having like 30 milliseconds delay, and it's quite critical to not have any kind of delay when you're playing games like this. And yeah, it was much harder back then. I wonder if I should just, like, you know, post this gameplay on YouTube and call it like nearly flawless game walkthrough of Crash Bandicoot 1. And I don't even have to like edit it that much, just because, you know, I'm just like doing levels like in one run, like one go. I never liked this boss, not because it's like complicated or anything, it's just that they have to time the explosion of the box just right. I occasionally watch some speedrunners doing speedruns of certain games, like older games usually, like Metroid, Crash Bandicoot, sometimes even Harry Potter games, and the thing is, it always looks like easy, but then you just watch those speedruns, and these folks who like replay the same game over and over, like for speedrun purposes, they know certain, you know, game-breaking tricks, like exploits and game mechanics and so on, and it's like, it just looks like magic. And when you watch like how they play, like, you know, even with my skill in this game, it looks pale compared to what they show in their speedruns. That was like huge mistake. I shouldn't have killed him with mask, because now that I had to die just because I have to grab this head thing on the top of that moving platform. It's my second death in this game so far. First, if you don't count the death due to controller malfunction. this is one of those levels where you have to time your crate smashing just right, because otherwise you're risking to run into a situation like this where your bottom crate is just pretty much done and you just fall because you can't use it anymore to destroy the crate that is above you. Okay, so I died in that level once, and this level gives you a colored gem, but you have to do it in one run, and since I technically died once, I'll probably will have to replay this level again. Yeah, I did finish the Stormy Ascent level. I'm not sure if I'm spelling it right, like pronouncing it right, but I did actually finish this game like 101 or 102, whatever the max percentage is. So I did finish it a couple times and doing all platinums, and was probably one of the two most hardest levels when it comes to getting platinum. I mean, it's not complex to finish the levels itself, but it's much more harder to finish it on time and in one run, because there's just too many things that are like a bit irritating. And the other level that is like probably was like the hardest for time relic run is on the lab. The lab level is like the hardest. I think it's even more harder. Like I mean, it takes much less time to finish it, but it's like super tight when it comes to like how much room you have in seconds to get the platinum relic. But still, like all three games, all levels together is like nothing compared to Crash Bandicoot 4. Crash Bandicoot 4 is like pretty much Demon Souls games for kids, although I doubt that kids will be able to finish them. I mean, it's super complicated, it's just a lot of grind and patience. I mean, it's not like Crash Bandicoot 4 is much more complex than the N-Sane Trilogy, it's just more like the levels are longer, and hence you just have to try and retry a lot, and it just, you know, accumulates the time needed to finish the game with all the perfect relics and all that stuff. To be honest, even though I'm like technically would call myself Crash Bandicoot fan, but I kind of dislike the latest game because they just like overcomplicated things for no good reasons. Get platinum on each level. By platinum I meant just the time relic. So time relic is just you trying to beat the timer, like finish the game within allocated time limit. And there's like 3 levels of time relics. Like gold, platinum, and I forgot what the name of the third one. And sapphire, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And yeah, here's my green gem. Yay. And yeah, it's probably like considered like the hardest part of the N-Sane trilogy is getting all the platinum relics. It doesn't really unlock anything. For like unlocking everything, it's fine to have all gold, not necessarily platinum. But I think there's like an achievement, like Steam achievement or PlayStation achievement or whatever the platform you're playing on, that you'll get on if you do like all platinums. Did I just go backwards? I didn't really pay attention. Yeah. Okay. I remember when I was a kid, like I was like probably 4 or 5 years old, my mom was playing this game, and obviously she struggled just because, you know, she never played video games in her like childhood or anything. And, you know, being exposed to video games for the first time, especially Crash Bandicoot game, it takes some skill to not necessarily master it, but more like just to finish the game. So I remember when I was a kid, I was watching her like playing this game and struggling in so many places, and now I'm like doing this and just trying to finish it in like shortest possible span of time. It's not as easy as it looks. Like, you have to literally balance yourself on a rope when you're trying to like skip those breach areas, and sometimes it's just much easier to just do a regular run instead of trying to get on a rope. It's like technically like a slippery slope, you can just easily fall off. I like both, although I would say that I probably got used to N-Sane Trilogy too much. I mean, the original games, they do have like original soundtrack, and this original soundtrack was like written by I forgot the name of the composer, and they're like, you know, they're more like they have like more atmosphere, and like they sound less like a child game, like kids game. They're like more appropriate for the atmosphere that is shown in originals. Plus, originals have like certain differences when it comes to like how do you get all your crates. As I said, you have to do it in like one run for all levels. In that game you have to do it in like one run only for colored gems, and you're fine just doing as many runs, or like, you know, having as many deaths as you get when you're just trying to get the regular clear gem. So it's kind of easier in certain ways but harder in other ways, just like, for example, inclusion of the time relics. The original first and second games did not have any time relics, so it was technically much faster. Like, it didn't require that much time when you were trying to complete the original 2 games. So, although you had to replay more often if you wanted to do like all crates in one single life, of course. But I would say it's much easier to just finish level slowly with 1 life versus trying to finish level as quick as possible with 1 life. So it's still faster to do the originals. And originals, they do have a different hitbox system, so from engine standpoint, every object in original game, it has like squarish hitbox area. So like when you collide with enemies or like edges of the cliffs and what's not, it kind of works slightly different versus what's in N-Sane Trilogy. In N-Sane Trilogy, there are a lot of cases where you're like just 2 pixels away from enemy and you'll get hit, whereas on original you would hit the enemy instead. So, I mean, it's hard to say which one I prefer more. I mean, obviously graphics looks nicer in that game, but it kind of lost a bit of its charm, I would say, just because the original games, they were more like, I wouldn't call them like horror games, of course, but like they were like more, okay, that was a silly mistake. So the original games, I wonder if I have to restart it just because this one has like a colored gem or something. Let me check. No, it's regular gem, so I can just die as many times as I want. So yeah, like the original game, even though it was like technically considered a kid's game, like the overall vibe of the game, it was more like, I don't know, a bit more mature, I would say. So there is that. Another thing is that in N-Sane Trilogy they did include all those cut levels. Well, not levels, but more like cut level from the first games, that hardest level that is considered like the hardest level as a DLC. And the original game still had this level, but in order to access it you had to use like a cheat engine, I think it was called Game Shark back then in 90s, to access it, which was like not necessarily possible unless you have like this cheat engine, whatever was it, like a hardware thing, I don't remember. I mean, I never owned it myself, so, but as soon as I got into emulators and all that stuff, I did figure it out and did finish it in an original as well. Plus, for Crash Bandicoot 3, they did introduce brand new level that was never present in the original game, so but still, despite all the negatives of the N-Sane Trilogy, I'm glad that we do have this remake, because this specific trilogy is probably like my #1 childhood game, and it's nice that it's available as an alternative with Unreal Engine graphics and all that stuff. So Technically, I did purchase PlayStation 4 Pro back then, just because this game was released. I never intended to own PlayStation 4, to be honest. As soon as I heard like the E3 Gamers, this conference, E3, Electronics Entertainment Expo, or whatever it stands for, as soon as I did see the trailer, I was like, wow, I have to purchase PlayStation 4. Little did I knew that it's gonna be released like year after on PlayStation and Xbox. I don't know why I did assume that it's gonna be a PlayStation exclusive. Probably because the original Crash Bandicoot games, they were always like PlayStation exclusives, and it was pretty much like a mascot of PlayStation, just like Mario for Nintendo, and well, there was no mascot on Xbox, but still. I mean, if I did knew that this game is gonna be released in 1 year on PC, to be honest, I would still buy a PlayStation, just because I wouldn't be. I mean, I wouldn't have enough of patience to wait like full-blown year without my favorite childhood game. So I can see myself still buying the console just for this game. So I know a lot of people were buying PlayStation consoles for Uncharted games, so this is one of the only 2 keys that can be found in this game, and these keys are used to unlock 2 like sideways levels, like 2 extra levels that are not accessible otherwise. And in order to finish the game fully, you have to unlock those levels, of course, and finish them. I explicitly remember this specific area with all those mobile platforms where my mom was struggling the most back then. Those platforms, and the other place was those levels with breach and fallen wooden pieces. Like Road to Nowhere, and what was the other level name? Well, true, but like Grand Theft Auto, especially like on its hype level, like you know, GTA 5, GTA 4 perhaps, they were more like 10 of 2008 and past that. So, but back then, GTA Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 3 were not really like big games. I mean, they were big games, but like they were nowhere near to the level of hype that they produce now. So people were buying Xboxes for like Halo games, and they were buying PlayStation for, well, Uncharted included, because Uncharted games were released around that time too. In Ukraine, where I was born, like we only had PlayStations, and sometimes, like super rare occasions, you could find like people who were playing like Nintendo consoles. But Xbox, it was like super rare animal. You wouldn't find, at least in my area, I didn't know anyone who would own Xbox. Probably because, you know, in most cases, even back then, most games were playable on PC, what was available on Xbox, except Halo, of course, but I think even some Halo games were available on PC. Yeah, back then I kind of skipped all original Uncharted trilogy. I only played like Uncharted. I mean, I did start with original trilogy still, but I never played it on PlayStation 3 because I never owned PlayStation 3. I purchased PlayStation 4 and I got like whatever remastered version of Uncharted trilogy on PlayStation 4. So I did finish that, and when I was playing it, I felt like it was a bit too overhyped, because I remember when I was playing all the Assassin's Creed games, like Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and what's not, a lot of people were like comparing Assassin's Creed games to Uncharted series, especially like parkour of the early Assassin's Creed games. And they were saying like, you know, Assassin's Creed still worse versus Uncharted games, just because Uncharted games are like, well, obviously Sony exclusives, but also like they have so many cool cinematic cutscenes and what's not. And maybe cinematics wise, yeah, sure, it looks gorgeous, but like from parkour standpoint, Uncharted games are more like super scripted corridor games versus Assassin's Creed, where you had like pretty much freedom in your movements. The only other game I could think of when it comes to like better parkour is probably Mirror's Edge, which was like 2008 era video game, and it has like its special atmosphere with all the ambient soundtracks and that first person view running on rooftops. I really like this game. If it's still decently playable on PC without any fancy patches and what's not, maybe I'll finish it one day. I'm like looking forward to replay it. So yeah, when I finished like the original Uncharted trilogy, I was like, yeah, it's a cool game, but like I don't see myself like being super hyped about it. And even after I did finish like the original Uncharted trilogy, I didn't play Uncharted 4 for like another couple of years. I don't exactly know why, even though I did purchase it on sale on PlayStation 4 when I got PlayStation 4. But yeah, I didn't really play it. My first walkthrough of Uncharted was like when I got it on PC, and I'm kind of glad that I got it on PC, because obviously on PC I could play it with like 60 frames per second, all that stuff. So it was like the ultimate way to play Uncharted. And Uncharted 4, yeah, it was like still technically a corridor game, and like the parkour was still kind of, well, at least it's not worse than like later Assassin's Creed games, but it was like, I did like it much more compared to the original trilogy. Oh, I just realized that I was running backwards. overcomplicated game for myself for no good reason. I mean, it's probably one of the easiest levels in this game, but still. And it kind of sucks that Sony decided to leave the PC gaming market. Like, you know, I got used to their policy of releasing all the PlayStation 5 and 4 and whatever exclusives couple years after PlayStation release. Because it also automatically means if original Uncharted trilogy is ever gonna happen, then we won't get it on PC probably. And I was looking really looking forward to get Astrobot on PC. I guess I'll have to get it on PlayStation instead. Because I still didn't play Astrobot, but I did play the technical whatever free game Astrobot games that was on with the original PlayStation 5. I hate this specific secret bonus level because of all those great jumping. Although it's still nowhere as terrible as tapes in Crash Bandicoot 4 where we have like a lot of levels that are like built like this. This is one of those levels that I don't like just because of a lot of backtracking. I have to restart it just because this level probably has gem as far as I remember. Like color gem? No? No. Okay. Oh, actually, never mind. I won't be able to finish it anyways. Because I don't have the blue gem, and I believe this level requires a blue gem, so it doesn't really matter if I'll get all the boxes. I mean, I won't be able to get all the boxes anyways, so I don't even have to try. on my way, trying to get all the grades. I'm just gonna quickly finish this level, because this level can be finished really quick if you're like not trying to collect all the boxes. Okay. There's this weird discrepancy when it comes to bonus levels. Like those bonus rounds, they just kind of vary in difficulty a lot. Certain bonus levels are like super easy, and some of them are like just 3 or 5 crates, and some of them are like 40, 50, well, not sure about 50, but like there are some of them that have like almost 40 grades for sure. Coconut. I was always curious what was the original intent behind those like blue electric coil with like gold pipes that were like off. Did they originally intend to make them like as an obstacle with those electrical thingies moving back and forth? But then it's probably like more like an artistic choice, because we're technically like infiltrating the secret generator wherever thing. So I suppose it's like, you know, we're accessing an area that was obviously never supposed to be accessed from like game lore standpoint, so they didn't even bother to turn on like the protection systems that they have in place. And I guess this level was originally like a reference to Donkey Kong game on Nintendo Entertainment System. Like the original Donkey Kong game, not like the well, relatively modern Donkey Kong games, where there was like this rolling barrel all the time and you had to save the princess or whatever. The 8-bit colored game. I don't know why I didn't even bother trying to get this life between two TNT boxes, since I'm like over the cap anyways. I probably should save the game just to be safe. So I had a couple of prior save files and I guess I'll just reuse that one. I think I'm gonna take a break after this boss fight. It will be the last one for today. Because I don't want to finish game in one run. I mean, obviously I'm still kind of far away from that if I want to get all the relics, but I really like how they did reuse the original painting that is on the floor. Like it was present in the original game, like it was obviously low dimensional, but it was still the same exact painting. Okay, so I guess I'll just gonna manual save again, just to be sure. And I can probably enable save slots so it will get overridden again in future. And yeah, that's it guys. Thank you for watching, and obviously I intend to finish the full game and do everything, so we have like still so
Juicy
many
Delicious
gems
just
to go
followed.
through and all the relics, and I'll be aiming for platinum relics just because, I mean, why not? So we're halfway there according to the percentage, 57, or more like just a bit over, but yeah. Thank you again and have a good night everyone.